Many unbearable hours later.
I made top 100 in North America, and I am proud to say this is how I did it. I would say one of the most respectful things is that the opponent I'm fighting right now, he did not counter pick me. So counter pick, if you don't know, is when you see someone's picking an opponent and so you counter play them by picking somebody else. Now I will say that drifting white dash thing, I absolutely cannot stand that. At this moment in time, I did not know how to counterplay that. Now I kind of do know what I can do against it, like sidestepping, but even then, it may not work. I might even do a reverse blue just to kind of push them off when they do that. But it is a good play, I will say, when you want to dash in. Now, I really was keeping him at bay. I really had, some good distancing with him. I did pick the right character for Kisuke. I actually consider Rangiku to be a good counterplay against Kisuke, but I didn't plan that originally. I just wanted to play Rangiku because she's a lower tier character. She didn't have any loops. One of the self-fulfilling rules that I had for my gameplay in this tournament and in the other tournaments is I didn't want to have loops. I didn't want to have infidence. I didn't want to use a character that was spam worthy because for me, I just didn't feel that honorable. And, right here, I'm getting smashed up by loops. And this is a loop that Kisuke has. And I actually didn't recognize it at first. I didn't recognize it at first that this was a fucking loop. So it kind of upset me later on when I realized that, oh wow, I was getting smashed up by loops. Nothing, actually crazy, just something I can't get out of, other than teching the grab. One thing for me, I just like to have a clean game. So I'm not saying they're fighting dirty, because they are fighting within the rules, but it's a matter of right and wrong. I just don't feel loops are morally right. But that's just me. Maybe that's just me. Not the loops that we had, anyways, I could say. But I get it. Loops are fair if they're done right. So he was playing very respectfully, so I definitely give him that. I really do like the way he's fighting. But as you can see, I'm definitely holding my own. I'm definitely pacing the match. I didn't want to overextend and do too much, especially because I was in control of the battle. Really, I will say I really only made 2 big mistakes in this entire battle, and I'll show you what these are. All right, here we go. Here's where shit gets serious. Yeah, right about here is where I fucked up. Because why the hell did I do a spiritual pressure technique right in front of his face? This was the setup play and the 100-meter play. I needed to have that storm set up, and he countered it. He stopped it. That was the smartest thing he could have done, because if not, he would have probably been dead right about now. Because he wouldn't have been able to interact and move around like that in Rangiku's storm. I would have hit him by now, and I would have destroyed his Konpaku. But instead, unfortunately, he stopped me, and now I'm having to play defensive. And now he's also healing. So he's definitely playing the long game. He's definitely smart about it. He's not just going to give me a chance. But he made a mistake right there because I knew he was coming to me, so I stepped into my storm. So, I mean, I really feel that I really could have had him. There it is. You're not paying attention to the storm when you're with Rangiku. You're paying attention to me. And that's the detriment. Yeah, he got me. So first soul break goes to him. Now from here, since he soul broken me, I'm going to need to reset. Alright, so I set up my storm. Then I go in for the kill. Gotta be as aggressive as I can be. Thankfully I am in sublimation. So I'm going to break a good 5 right here, which actually helps me. Alright, so now I'm in the lead. Now I just got to get to 30%. Damage. go. Alright. See, this is where I didn't need to be doing a flash step. He was in my storm. I had him. I didn't need to get close to him. And in that little mistake there, I couldn't get out of any of this. None of this. Except that I could have taken that grab, but I just didn't see that coming in that entire combo set. I mean, I was stuck in the air. Yeah, it just, oof, this felt shitty. I mean, GG's, great game. I mean, look how close I got him, but I made one mistake in that flash step that I didn't need to do. I would have just kept pummeling him. If I had just pummeled him with the Ash that I had, boom, would have been game. But I made a flash step mistake, and boom, 2 mistakes has cost me the match. And we definitely ran that shit back, and it was absolutely a murder. Yeah, we're not watching that, buddy, because it was absolutely so crazy. He beat my ass. Because at that point he had me. I picked the wrong character. Should not have picked Shunsui for Kisuke, I will say. Just because with Kisuke being more of a mid-range character, he can do buffs. He can do a lot more for himself. Ultimately, with, you know, Shunsui, you can use his abilities against him, especially with all of his games. Just because if you know the games, then you can just use them to your advantage by hitting Shunsui first, or by making sure the demon is on Shunsui when the game is ending. So there's just a lot of things that you can do against Shunsui. Things that I will say, you know, Sacred was very respectful in winning, and was very, very kind in, you know, this small little interaction we had. I think they are an amazing player. They ended up getting 7th in the entire match, and I think I held my own against them. So I definitely do think I, you know, deserve the right to be top 100. I just unfortunately kind of sold there. But that being said, that was a great tournament that Quyon held. And ironically, in the next tournament held by Nikito, I fought Quyon in one of the first matches. I was like, you know what? I guess I should fight one of the best off rip. I did get a good little warm-up match in before his, but I would say his was definitely the most competitive one I felt. I noticed that Quyon switched from Shunsui to Yama, but I didn't realize why until we started fighting. Playing as Yama allows him to be a more overpowering powerhouse rather than just simply a close-range character, where I could have taken advantage of a close-range character with Shunsui being Rangiku. But homie was coming right for me, not giving me any space to breathe. And I was a little bit surprised. I wasn't exactly sure what to do in this situation. I should have just kept going, I feel, but I backed off, and really giving him time to cool down, which was not the smart play. I haven't fought a lot of good Yamas. A lot of terrible Yamas would have kept going right here. And you see his, you know, his meter, he's managing his meter quite well. He's waiting for it to go down. He's playing very defensively, patient. So I'm like, okay, I see it. I see the game. You see, that dash is freaking killer because there's not a lot you can do it. And I soon realized, that his special flash attack, projectiles don't even touch him for the most part. Most projectiles, he just goes right through them. So it's kind of really, really hard. Okay, of course he knows how to go for the quick attack because I knew he'd go in with something strong. See, I've got nothing for that. So really, I mean, that's going to be such a difficult attack to deal with. The only thing I could probably do for that is maybe a counter. Thankfully, I go into Heineko, thinking that maybe I'll be able to use this. Okay. So it did kind of help a little bit, but somehow he's able to block immediately, which I did not understand. Like, the game gods were on his side. He's somehow blocking through my combo. So I'm like, okay, well, Hey Yamamoto somehow just doesn't... I don't know if that was a glitch, to be honest, or if that was something that was like game intentional, but it just felt like the combo was almost dropping. Homie was... I will say Quyon was definitely aura farming in this match. Or maybe it's just because he has Yama, and Yama's just straight aura.
Oof, he was absolutely ready for my flash step. And if your opponent's ever far away from you, if they don't have a technique to get right next to you, just assume they're going to try to flash step if they have the gauge. So that was definitely a novice move on my part, because at this point, I also anticipate whenever someone is doing that. If I see someone backing up, but then I see that they've got the gauge, or Chu even, I'm like, okay, they're going to do a reverse gauge, or they're going to do a flash up, or some sort of combo. But he's practically got me here. I mean, I could possibly do a comeback, but it's just, I mean, he's really managing his meters, keeping me right where he needs me. And at this point, it's pretty much GG's. Oof. Homie pretty much cooked me. Not gonna lie. I'm like, okay, I learned right there, firsthand, Quyon, definitely one of the GOATs here in, you know, Bleach Rebirth of Souls. But, you know, hey, I still got some juice, I still had some fire for him. I analyzed his gameplay from that match, and I digested that, and I was like, okay, bet. So he just came at me with that, let's switch it up. Alright, so I picked Shunsui, and, you know, I'm very comfortable with Shunsui. I did really well with Shunsui, but I gotta say, Shunsui is an unexpectedly low-tier character. If you know how to use his moveset, then you know how to use his moveset against him. Kind of similar to Yama, that if he doesn't manage his meters, but in this sense, it's more so kind of uncontrollable, because his games, you'll see. But overall, Quyon definitely was coming at me a little bit more aggressive this round, I would say. You saw him do the double flash step. He's definitely coming at me pretty aggressively. I noticed that, and I'm like, okay, I'm really trying to figure out how to fight against him. And I said, okay. Because I realized, to me, it felt like I needed someone to have, you know, close range. And someone I could kind of surprise him with. Especially with that dash, I needed to figure out something I could do with that dash. You see, I still hadn't figured it out then. But check this out. Ah, and there was a moment when I figured it out. I realized if I could just clash it and keep going, I'd be able to figure it out. There I go whiffing, but I'm testing out to see what I can do. You see, that's one of the issues I think Breaker has, is where if you do it afterwards, it will still tech it. But you saw how I sidestepped out of that Yamamoto attack? Kind of clean. I was ready, Quyon. You're not gonna just catch me slipping at every turn, bro. I respect the game, but respect my... Ooh, you see, he's just... Had to breathe for a second, but I will still wait for it. Can't let my health go down. I'm Gonna evolve immediately. I need them games active.
Let's play to the death, shall we? So, what should we play today? Miss me again. King of the hill.
See, I like the fact that the Bushogama kind of went through the flames, but low-key should have still hit him. And I'm surprised he let me go back into it, but then again, he can't really dash, so I get it. See, if you hit it on the first one, it seemed to kind of cancel out, but he wasn't going to let me punish him for that. He's very good at pacing himself, so Quyon is definitely showing his experience here. And I respect that. I definitely could tell. I was respecting his stance, and also, you know, just... I knew who I was fighting against, so I had to really pace myself, especially with Yamamoto, especially because I didn't know how to fight him very well. So I was taking my previous L as a good basis, because really he's one of the only good Yamas I've seen, if I'm being for real. Most Yamas will literally just burn themselves, but he hasn't done it once. Oof. See, I'm trying to get his health down there. I didn't want him to go in, but he dashed. And he might have it there. And he does. He's very good at playing aggressive. And, you know, if I had a way to poke and kind of keep at bay, if I'm being for real, I think I should have gone with Tosin. Because that one I would have been able to poke at him, but then also kind of do a little bit of a mix-up. But hey, you know, we make these choices, we live and we learn. But this is how we learn to be better. At this point, I'm just gauging him. I'm trying to see what I can do. He's not even budging. Thankfully, it's the demon game is active. I did find this interaction really, really cool. Mine was a multi-hit, and his attack was hitting me. So he took all that damage, but really he had no health there. So it was kind of a disadvantage. Like, if he basically took all that damage for one hit. So, you know, this is kind of one of the things where I say with Shunsui, sometimes, you know, his situation isn't great flashed up. See, I'm testing out everything I can do against it while in a legitimate fight. And that's kind of hard to do. See, now I just want to keep him out. This felt like a true showdown. And he's like, he's trying to bait me. And he got me, though. Oof. See, at this point I realized my health is really low. I could damn near just lose my Keycone, or if I could hold for 5 minutes, I survive. He may have had that, but unfortunately game is game, and I ended up getting it. It's very possible he had that, but one never knows until we actually had that at last little second. But hey, I got that. I got that. And then right afterwards, he got really serious, turned up the volume, and absolutely wrecked me. So I ended up in the loser's bracket.
I will end this quickly.
But I fought my way through
You're going to regret this
all the way
later.
till I got to AboveRuin. And he decided to go with Byakuya against my Rangiku. Zoner against Zoner. I said, okay, let me make sure I get to my awakening fast. A little bit of lag, but okay, we'll deal. Gotta make sure I keep the mix up, all the damage I can. I'm surprised he actually stayed in his steel state. Most Byakuyas are very prone to, you know, going right into Shikai. But he stayed at base. His Byakuya was nicely timed, I will say. I don't see enough Byakuyas that do that. I will say, I think I actually did that counter on purpose. One, to see if he'd hit me, and two, to get the bug out of the way, because Rangiku has a bug. And so if you just do the counter, it tends to work pretty well to where it avoids doing the bug, I feel. But these are just little things you gotta know. That's why, you know, when you're looking at what a pro player does, they're looking at knowledge of the characters that they have and the characters that they're fighting. You know, they're also looking at what do they have in their arsenal and what's going to be effective against the opponent that they have. So, you know, player knowledge and matchup. Execution, of course, is also a big one. Any player can make a mistake, and you've seen, you know, every single pro player in this tournament has made a mistake or two in the match that I've tried to capitalize or have capitalized on it. So it's a matter of making as least mistakes as possible and, you know, executing your game plan. Ultimately, everyone in this video is worthy of top 100 and did get top 100, and I hope you can see why, because, you know, it's between the spacing, the movement, they understand the assignment. It's not just button mashing, it's spacing, sidesteps, all of that jazz. See, we're just about even, but he's got me a little bit there.
It's almost time.
Come on, evolution. I don't know what it is about it, but I really like doing evolution in front of people's face. I think it's kind of like a intimidation thing where I'm like, nah, fuck out of here, back up. I really need to do an Ash in front of him. Alright, now that I got that, that should help a lot. See, now, if he gets anywhere near me, but I wish I had kept him inside of it instead of blowing him away. See, here he got right back in it, but he got a little disrespectful here. I didn't quite like this. Alright, yeah, we know. Come on, Byakuya. Like, you see how he just sidestepped out of that? You saw he just ate that? I didn't like that. It was kind of clean. I'll give it to him. The good thing is with Byakuya, as soon as he starts doing an action, you have to capitalize on it and make sure that you don't... See, right there, he thought I was going to be close by. Thankfully, I was safe. I always start off with quick attacks, but every now and then, I do a heavy. But I gotta be really sure that I'm safe. And so we've been holding each other at 9 practically this entire match. That's what a pro player can do. Because it's like, you're just fighting so... And there, now it's not at 5. I mean, now it's not at 9. See, you know, most players that fight very well will either be destroying each other's health or they'll be holding their own and kind of playing evenly. And I feel kind of evenly equipped for him. Granted, my Rangiku was a good matchup for Byakuya. You see, I feel that counter should have worked. It didn't last long enough, in my opinion. Bandai, work on that, please.
You've lost. Give up.
See, why Byakuya got all this, right? I got a counter and a summoning sand technique. This motherfucker got a instant flash step attack and a I scatter my sword everywhere around me technique. Like, fuck out of here. How am I supposed to compete with that? See, I ain't gonna lie though, I definitely was whiffing at that moment. I started trying to do my summoning technique. He definitely hit me out of it. I just feel like Rangiku needs more, right? Because how is she gonna actively compete? Like, I'm in an active tournament and I can't legitimately compete with a Byakuya. I mean, granted, I will say, I know I fucked up a little bit, but let's be honest, I don't got the tools, I don't get the bag. I'm just saying. But you know, I said, okay, he's got to stay with Byakuya because those are the tournament rules. So I said, you know what? If this is the way I'm going to go out, I'm going to go out with my main. Ain't no way. I was ready for the hands. And I'll say, I don't know a lot of people that would have picked Tosin to go up against Byakuya, but something just told me I had it. So I went for it. It's okay. It's okay. Relax. Relax. I got this. See that backstep? Clean. I was inches away. I said, nah. Come here. Come here, boy. I'm about to betray you and the whole Soul Society. Got 200 seconds on the clock, buddy. I don't got time for this. Nah. Grab right through your... Yep. I did feel really good about... Ooh, see, Sayabane is not a good attack to just be busting out of nowhere. I just wasted 100 meter to do that technique when really I could have just used the other technique twice and it probably would have been more effective. But yeah, you live and you learn. Granted, I am beating his ass right now, as you can see. But that's not always a good thing. So that's why I'm trying to take it, you know, safe. See, what other character can just start busting out an attack from all the way on the other side of the field? I'm sorry. The devs are showing their fave right here. But I expected it. I said, nah, hold on. Nah, stop that foolishness. Come back here. I'm not done. There we go. I love that effect of how the rock behind him just broke. But you see how he's baiting me with that? And low-key it worked. I didn't like that. I haven't seen a Byakuya do that. I was ready for it, but my counter kind of worked off that, but not really. See how I backstepped out of that though? Crazy. See, now I'm kind of baiting him, but it's not really working because he's got the range. But my counter maybe? Come on. He should be hitting me right about now. I would. Ooh, see, I knew he was coming at me like that. See, yeah, I backed up too much. Oof. I should have really just healed right here. And I don't know what I was thinking not healing, but okay. But it's alright. I held out long enough. I think we were both waiting for a transformation because we just got a little passive. And that's one thing I feel that they kind of need to figure out how to adjust in the game, is how to make that less passive. Oof. That double flash step was kind of cool. But he was waiting for the same moment I was. And you know what? Also, I guess you could say you could leave it because it kind of builds anticipation. But only if you're a good player. Because if not, you're kind of end up feeling like you're not being rewarded for the match by beating the shit out of them. See, right there, that should have destroyed his Kompaku, but oof, come on. That could have if I had done a heavy. Oof. I messed up there. No, see, how am I supposed to do that while I'm floating? There is nothing I can do there. I just don't feel that it's something that you should be able to do. I understand why he can do it, but let me know in the comments, do you really think that that is okay for Byakuya to be able to do? Just, I'm mid-falling, mid-animation, and you can start your next attack? Nah, fuck out of here. Because if that's the case, I'm going to need Tosin to come out of the darkness, and you can't see him for shit, you can't hear him for shit. Nah. See, when people start getting a little too comfortable in my darkness, I said, you know what? Let me get to sublimation first and then hurt him. But okay, I see you. I see you. You're smart. You're smart with it. But I just gotta hit you once. And we're there.
Killing with purpose is justice.
See, I thought about this. This is big brain energy right here. Now, this first time when I was playing with Quyon, I wasn't trying to go for the timeout. wasn't even realizing it was timeout until it was legitimately time. But see, with this one, at 30 seconds, I realized we were not going to have enough time to finish this match. So I had to do as much damage to the Kompaku, not just the health. So that's why I waited to sublimation. I was like, well, if I'm already there, yes, I could go in. But if I wait to sublimation, I'll take 5 and not 4. And that's what happened. Because the last match, we timed out. So this is last game for us, last set. And we went crazy. I was surprised that he went with a blue reverse into flashed up. But I said, okay, I understand. Oof. I will say, looking at this, I feel I should not have done as many backsteps as I did. I was removing my advantage of how close I was, because I can move around. But with Byakuya, you have to actually stay a little close. Just not too close, just like I did there. That one backstep was perfect. 2 is too far away, because you have to stay close within his range. You want to be able to make sure that he's scared of what to do. Because if you're so far away, he's always going to press circle or triangle. And he's always going to keep you away. But see, that's too far. See, that was the right move, but I didn't follow up with anything. And I wasn't actually sure what I was doing there. Oof. See, that was a wonderful execution on my part. It's surprising when I actually get the execution that well. Especially from a Byakuya, because it's kind of hard. Oof. See, some of my moves don't go into each other, and it kind of makes it really difficult. Versus Byakuya, I'm sorry I'm hating on him, but it's just, I feel that he got a little bit too much love, whereas others did not get as much love as they should have. But hey, I'm gonna keep rocking with it. I'm gonna stick beside him. Nah. Back up now. Hold on now. Why do I feel like he's going for the... Oh, he is, yes. And normally that would have been my get out of jail free card, but he canceled out my technique before I could do it. And then brought me in. Oof. Beautiful backstep on my part, but it's not enough. Too solid. Kendrick!
One of my biggest issues is that I'm doing too many quick attacks and not enough heavies. A lot of backsteps. I'm playing very passive, basically, and it's to my detriment.
See, here he's overwhelming me. And yes, I could do a soul break, but he's playing it very well. He's holding me back. He's overwhelming me with pressure. And at this point, he's playing very offensive in a way where it's hard to defend. I decide I shouldn't wait any longer. I see what he's trying to do, but he's kind of already there. I should have gone with a guard break. Oof. Oof. See, just a lot of Is he even in Bankai? He is, so I guess. But it just feels very overwhelming, I will say.
Senkei. Senpon Sakura Kageyoshi. Do you think you will still be standing after this? Was it supposed to be like? Do not forget your fears.
Yeah, it just, at this point, it feels very hard. I shouldn't have used a flash step for that, but, and I got a little crazy trying to do that. But yeah, I could feel my desperation here, because all he had to do was basically just play back.
Lawbreakers must face justice.
There wasn't enough damage I could do within these time frame. So really, I mean, every single match that we had, it was based on a timeout. So, I mean, and that's what's going to happen when, you know, you're playing with high-ranked people. Ultimately, he fought well. I didn't necessarily die, but neither did he in a lot of the matches. Quyon, you know, I timed him out. So, you know, with the skill it takes to fight in these tournaments to that capacity, the big three things I took away from this is, number one, execution. You're going to want to make sure you execute your techniques and the important setups properly. So making sure you don't do obvious attacks in front of them like I did with Kisuke. Number two, you're going to want to make sure you understand the character matchup. Is the character you're picking a viable character for the person you're going to be fighting? Now, anyone technically should be able to fight anyone, but sometimes you're going to put yourself to a disadvantage that you may not realize at first. So you're going to want to understand just exactly to what disadvantage or advantage you have currently. And that's what I learned with the Quyon fight, especially with fighting a Yamamoto that I was not familiar with. Shinsui was better, Rangiku was awful. In my opinion, probably Uryu might have been good, or maybe like a, you know, Ichigo or a Aizen. Maybe even Hitsugaya. And then of course, with AboveRuin, I learned that I should really stick to who I feel most comfortable with, because as you can see, I fought very well with Tosin. Now, obviously fighting Byakuya is very challenging, but if you just know your character to a fine T, you should be able to do fairly well. And if you train, you might even become top 100 yourself. Let me know what you guys think about these matchups, how they went, how the tournament went. I feel like I could have done a lot better, but I do think I did fairly well. Now, obviously, I'm showing you the L's, but keep in mind, I did get a W. Everybody that I fought, I at least won against once. And at the end of the day, it was a lot of fun. Thank you so much to the tournament organizers, Quyon, Nikito, you guys are amazing. Biscuit as well, I did play your tournament as well. Let me know what you guys thought down below in the comments, what I could have done better that I didn't already mention, and what you guys thought about the tournaments and how they went. This has been your boy Saint, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
Run that shit back!